All right, good evening, friends. Good evening to the people of Earth. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's feeling good. Hope everybody's doing good. We're going to end up having a good show tonight. Got a good story for you tonight. For anybody that is interested in that. All right, my friends. So I'm just trying to make sure that everything is going good, making sure that all the levels are on point, in check, and ready to go. Give me just a moment here. Checking the dashboards of the spaceship. Okay, cool. All right, my friends. So we'll go ahead and power up the spaceship, get everything all ready. Because, man, I love this. I love doing this so much. So, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the spaceship. My name is Seth. My friends call me Silky. The Sovereign Starseed. Sov Star. Whatever you want. It doesn't matter. But, this channel in Spaceship lifts off every night at 5 o'clock Universal Time, and we always try to make sure to at least deliver you the cryptocurrency news, because I feel that that's important, and I feel that there's a lot of that comes out, and I think that, we definitely need to make sure that, we are staying aware of everything that's going on, because it's changing fast. You'll see why. And so also, we do it from a sovereign perspective. We always like to talk about sovereignty on the channel. And it's very important, for, at least to me, to end up speaking that message, just because I really want people to see, that it's really just a matter of us needing to stand up for ourselves in a way that we just take responsibility over our own affairs, and we think for ourselves. That's basically it. And when we do that, then we won't allow something outside of us to tell us how to think, how to govern ourselves, or how to regulate ourselves. And so because of that, there's going to be some interesting things that you'll see. We also like to dip into some esoteric studies and knowledge, just because I always feel that that's very important. It's a way to try to tie the spirituality in to a lot of things, because, a few times, especially now, like we have so much room to do other things that we oftentimes forget about some of the simple things of spirituality, simple aspects. So let me just make sure that I can bring a few things up here. Digging this music too. Okay, perfect. All right, just making sure that we're getting everything else set up on the spaceship here while we jam out a little bit here and we see what is going on. Yeah, thank you to anybody that is that's been joining the spaceship here. Appreciate that. Okay, just getting a couple messages that I should be Okay. So let's see. It's possible that the stream is not going. Yes. Okay. So I can see some things happening here. There we go. All right. Just trying to make things smooth for everybody. Good, good. So let's see. So, first of all, I just want to start off with some affirmations and say that I'm grateful to be able to have this opportunity to give you the cryptocurrency news. Grateful for anybody that watches these videos. And I'm grateful to be alive at this time. All right, so let's go ahead and see what the spaceship has lined up for us today. Boom. Okay. It says new Bitcoin, new tax law eliminates loophole. Jeff John Roberts from Fortune.com has put out an article today. It says Bitcoin has defined financial gravity in 2017, but in one respect, just like any other investment, Uncle Sam expects a cut of the profits when you sell it. And starting in 2018, it will get a little bit hard. It'll get a little harder to avoid paying up. That's because a major tax reform passed in Congress this week contains a tweak that eliminates an exemption for many like-kind exchanges, which lets people swap an asset for a similar one without triggering a tax obligation. Until now, some investors have relied on the law to exchange one digital currency for another without paying taxes. For instance, someone who owned Bitcoin could diversify their holdings into Ethereum or Litecoin and plausibly tell the IRS it created no tax obligations. So, yeah, basically what I could say, guys, is that this article is just basically saying that we have now had a tax reform law that was passed in Congress that includes like-kind exchanges, meaning that it covers the aspect of cryptocurrency to cryptocurrency trading. However, I still think differently about a lot of this stuff, just because it's interesting, because like the tax reform wasn't something that like I was very much aware of, and I didn't know if I had much of a say in this reform going across. So it was interesting just to see how all this played out, and if there's any other information that anybody has about that, like about how we could have had a say in this tax reform, I would love to see you comment or send me a message about that, please. So, all right, yeah, that's just something that I wanted to say. And so starting in 2018, it's going to be harder for anybody to end up doing cryptocurrency trading without having proper books and record keeping of this. So yes, what I will say is that there may be new tax accountants that are going to start expanding their services next year, and there may be other places that you can see will probably offer not only tax services for cryptocurrencies, but special fees and things like that as well. So just wanted to go ahead and throw that one out there. And let me just go ahead and take a look at a couple of things here. Okay. boom, just taking a look at a few things. Just because like I keep getting these notifications saying that things are like all off on the audio and the video. So just trying to make sure that that works. You guys can hear this, right? All right, so okay, cool. And so next in cryptocurrency news, I just wanted to, yeah, it looks like it's reconnecting. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to show you this article that thebitcoinnews.com has put out today. It says Edward Snowden launches open source safe room app. So smartphones aren't just about basic communication. They hold intensely personal information, financial records, hordes of cryptocurrencies. As valuable players, as valuable as they are to owners, they're at least that or more to those who might do harm. It says dissident Edward Snowden is helping to launch Haven, an open source project designed to help protect investigative journalists, human rights defenders, and government corruption whistleblowers. So he is saying Haven is for people who need a way to protect their personal spaces and possessions without compromising their own privacy. The project's GitHub explains it's an Android application that leverages on-device sensors to provide monitoring and protection of physical spaces. Haven turns any Android phone into a motion, sound, vibration, and light detector, watching for unexpected guests and unwanted intruders. It's the pet project of noted government whistleblower Edward Snowden. He's best known for having run afoul of the 100-year-old Espionage Act and stealing government documents. As a CIA contractor, he evidently obtained unauthorized access to previously publicly unknown surveillance nets used by governments and telecommunication giants. He pretty much exposed a lot of the surveillance that's going on, and ooh, this is cool. There is a video about it now, and let me just go ahead and get over to my music so I can pause that real fast and we can watch this.
Have you ever had to leave something important behind, but wanted to keep it safe? Get Haven. Haven turns any spare Android phone into a safe room that fits in your pocket. It sounds crazy, so how does it work? Well, when you think about a smartphone today, they've got an incredible amount of surveillance equipment that is built into them. Typically 2 cameras, they've got 3 microphones, they've got barometers, accelerometers, light sensors, always on internet connection. They have the power to understand everything that's going on around them. But what if we could use all of that to do something good in the world, something more than just letting Facebook track everyone that you ever loved? We designed Haven as a tool for investigative journalists, human rights defenders, and people at risk. By combining the power of these sensors with the world's most secure communications technologies, things like Signal and Tor, Haven makes it harder to silence citizens, raids, searches, arrests, without getting caught in the act themselves. This creates a kind of herd immunity where before people launch a crackdown, they have to think, will I be witnessed in a way that I can't stop? But you don't have to be saving the world to benefit from Haven. Imagine the thing you want to protect the most. Maybe it's personal. Maybe it's practical. Maybe it's not a thing at all. Maybe it's you. Haven does more than watch your back. It gives you peace of mind. That's why we're releasing Haven today as an open source project, as a public beta release of this app. That means you can join us in making the world not just safe, but free by contributing to the project. whether in code or dollars. We're looking for contributors who understand that physical security is as important today as digital, who have an understanding and compassion for the threats faced by users and communities we support. The challenges that Haven has to tackle are pretty cool when you think about this on a technical level. We're making constant use of encrypted messaging, onion routing, image processing, audio buffering in interesting ways where you can learn a lot at the same time that you're doing something good. We all have something to protect. Thanks to collaborations of projects like this, thanks to the Guardian Project, the Freedom of Press Foundation, and you, now we can. Get Haven. Get control.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. I like it. I likes it. So I kind of I really like the way that, it's happening where he's like coming about that. And yeah, I can really appreciate that. So, with that, I just wanted to go ahead and show you guys that, and let's go ahead and get some of that spaceship music going again. Let's see if we can get this rolling. There we go. Bye, get my stuff rolling. There we go. Okay, cool. So yeah, anyways, Haven, that's pretty cool. It's going to be able to end up turning these devices into something that we can actually be using to ensure that we have a little bit more privacy. So I think that's pretty cool because rarely do you see people trying to create apps that are trying to give you your privacy back on such big levels. And so I can appreciate that. I like that. So yeah, I was just searching for it on the Android App Store. I don't see it on there yet. So let's see. I don't see like any. It says that it's for now. It's only available through Google Play, but I'm not able to see it. So like, yeah, I haven't seen it on Google Play, but we shall see. Let me see here. I've typed it in. I get Safe Haven, Zombie Exodus, Haven Today, Haven Affirmations, Deep Meditation. There's nothing on here that has Edward Snowden's app. So I wish I could get it. That would be cool. So yep, we'll just see what happens with that. So next, I just wanted to go ahead and talk about how Cointelegraph has put out an article today talking about keeping up with crypto market is now easier. Auto trading will soon be possible. So this is pretty cool. I like this. It says the cryptocurrency market is hard to keep up with thousands of altcoins circulating. It could be difficult to evaluate which ones are worth investing in, and it is even harder to follow their constant fluctuations. If this exponentially growing and ever-changing market can be disturbing, even to experienced traders, it is natural for new investors to feel lost in this complex environment. So there's the bot that does your homework. Well, fear not. For monitoring the crypto market has just been made a lot easier. Crypto Ping, a bot that signals unusual actions on the market, has improved the services available for subscribers. Although it has been out there for a while, Crypto Ping has now been enhanced in order to provide new data, such as price, volume, percentage increase. It also allows filtering assets by whitelists, blacklists, pre-mine, and ICO or no ICO. CryptoPing also cross-references information from several currency trading platforms, and this is really cool. It's delivered through an API, a system only available for subscribers who submit an API usage application. This allows downloading of a CSV that has your history into an account onto it. So I think that's really cool. And so what's happening is that the ultimate goal for CryptoPing is to evolve it into an investing app. It will allow users to invest according to the filtered bot signals by adding users' API keys, which will allow to trade directly through the app. Its second stage will feature an auto trading option designed to achieve steady profits for its users, as is specified in the company's white paper. So I think that's pretty cool. So CryptoPing, definitely take a look at that. And so, yeah, that is something that I think is pretty cool. Is that we're seeing a bot that is getting better with learning how to trade further with these altcoins and all cryptocurrencies. So I like that. And CryptoPing is something that I've heard of. I haven't looked into it yet, but yeah, it's definitely pretty cool. It's not one of the bots that I use, but it's cool, and it may be someday. So next, I just wanted to go ahead and talk about something that is, close to my heart, which is right now the current regulations. And let me just go ahead and take a look here, make sure that everything is still running good. Okay. It's going to be story time, friends. Okay, cool. All right, so let's see. So, yep, just wanted to go into a nice little story for us real fast, and that is um, sovereignman.com put out an article today that I think is really good, and it's something that is pertinent for us to be looking at, especially on a channel like this. So it says, last week during a long overdue vacation, a close friend of mine recommended reading the autobiography of Rich DeVos called Simply Rich. DeVos is a billionaire entrepreneur who started countless ventures during his 9 decades on Earth. Back in the 1946, for example, DeVos started an airline virtually overnight. He just bought an airplane and started flying people around. No rules, no regulations. They didn't even have an airport. The local airfield north of Grand Rapids, Michigan, where they were based, hadn't been completed yet. As the boss recounts in his book, we put pontoon floats on our plane and took off and landed on the Grand River, which ran along the airfield. His first office at the airfield was an old chicken coop that he found, washed in the river and repainted. The following year, he and his partner opened up one of Michigan's first drive-through restaurants at the airfield, catering to passengers, workers, flight students, and spectators who came by in the evenings just to marvel at the planes. Again, no rules, no regulations. They just saw an opportunity and went for it. DeVos started another business selling ice cream, another offering fishing excursions on Lake Superior, and another delivering trucks cross country. The truck delivery business was one of the more interesting ones. It started when he was just a kid. Someone asked him to drive 2 pickups from Grand Rapids to Bozeman, Montana. There were no hotels or motels, or even interstates back then. So DeVos and his friend had to zigzag their way across cornfields to get there, sleeping on haystacks each night along the way. The book is a hell of an adventure, a reminder of how free and unencumbered things used to be. Back in America's heyday, people succeeded based on their hard work, ingenuity, and willingness to take action. They didn't have to spend 3 years filling out paperwork so that some government bureaucracy could justify its existence. It was an environment that created unparalleled opportunity and prosperity, which, candidly, have long since faded. Today, there are rules for everything. In fact, just this morning, the U.S. federal government published an astonishing 709 pages of new regulations. Wow, guys. 709 pages of regulations. And that's just for today. They publish new regulations every single business day, so tomorrow there will be even more. These rules make it more difficult to produce, to start a business, to sell a product or service to a willing customer. And these rules carry costs, whether it's in paying a fee, filling out paperwork, etc. So just imagine the effect that literally decades worth of rules and regulations has had on U.S. productivity, which is now noticeably contracting, even according to government data. It's also worth noting that roughly 30% of occupations in the land of the free now require some sort of government license. In its study, License to Work, the Institute for Justice reports that 45 out of 50 of the largest cities in the United States have put up substantial obstacles to prevent budding entrepreneurs from selling food from street carts. A manicurist in Alabama requires 163 days of training, while a shampoo specialist at a Tennessee hair salon must undergo 70 days of training, take 2 exams, and pay $140 in fees to obtain a license. Hawaii requires fire alarm installers to undergo a whopping 4 years of training, pass 2 exams, and pay $380 in fees to obtain a license to install fire alarms on an island surrounded by water. And a tree trimmer in California must also undergo 4 years of training, pass two exams, and pay $851 in fees to obtain a license. It's absurd. Nothing that Rich DeVos, his partner, accomplished in their teens and 20s is even legal anymore. It makes me think about all the people today who will never have the chance to realize their full potential thanks to the mountain of regulations blocking their way. This is an important point to understand. Looking at the data, the incredible overregulation, $20 trillion in debt, insolvent pension funds, it's painfully obvious that the U.S. is past its prime in holding back millions of people from achieving greater prosperity. Rich DeVos started so many businesses back in the 1940s because the government stayed out of the way and enabled hard-working risk-takers to succeed. Today, the government spends $2 billion to build a website and churns out hundreds of pages of regulations each day. And this trend gets worse each year. Understanding this simple reality doesn't mean that you're pessimistic, unpatriotic, or expecting the end of the world. It just makes you rational. Things change. That's the bottom line. The U.S. is still a fantastic place, but it's no longer the same land of opportunity it was when Rich DeVos was getting started. As I've summarized before, the U.S. is a great place to consume, but an increasingly difficult place to produce. That imbalance has serious long-term consequences which we are only starting to experience. So that's it for this article, but I just wanted you guys to see that, with that, just think about it. Think about what's going on. Think about what we have, in our lives and how beautiful it is to be alive right now. And as we're seeing these types of things come through, where we're having 140, no, my bad. Let me go back to seeing what that was. $709 pages of new regulations, my friends. Those are all. So you want to end up being an entrepreneur? Okay, cool. You got to read all these 709 pages today, and then also get onto your business, and also make sure that you change your business the way that these regulations ask you to, and then also still try to innovate, also still try to have a good life, and also still try to come home, and then they all claim that you're not too tired to end up getting this stuff done. So, my friends, like exactly what I'm trying to say is I'm completely aligned with what this article is saying here. And it was just saying that, like, it's still a great place to live, but it's an awesome place to consume. And they have so many opportunities for you to end up consuming over and over and over again, more and more and more. But it's getting to be harder and harder for you to produce, for you to make a service, for you to bring something into the world. One of the biggest reasons why I haven't tried to officially start huge business or anything like that is because of this right here. You want to know why I take donations? Is because of this. And guess what? I still got to read a lot about donations, about things that you guys just want to give me. That's sad. But like that's why I'm trying to say that, here we are with this, the regulations that came out today, 700 pages, my friends, that you got to go through, understand, comprehend it all. And yeah, that's got to be done at breakfast because you still got to go and get your work done for the day. And entrepreneurs, they don't end up working 8-hour days. They work 10, 12-hour days regularly, usually. Come on. And like you're trying to say that this is like an awesome, awesome place. It's getting increasingly difficult and less attractive. So here's what I could say is if the U.S. wants these types of things to continue to flourish and be an awesome place for people to want to stay and be, well then, yeah, we definitely need to, woe back on how many changes we're putting in. Because guess what? Today, they put in a tiny little loophole that if people weren't reading it in depth and clearly, and I wasn't trying to stay on point with what's going on with the news, then you guys seeing this right now wouldn't know that there is now a loophole that's going to be starting 2018 that's going to be asking you to report all of your taxes, including all of the cryptocurrency trades that you've made. Now, come on. When did I have time to end up like voting in on this? When did I have time to look at this? Because there's definitely times with these cryptocurrencies that like I have no idea how to track some of this stuff. Some of these people have no idea how to do this. And it's 704 pages now that you got to read in order for you to like comprehend it all. Here's what I'm trying to say, my friends. Our intuition is going to be our greatest compass going forward. The answers are inside of us. This is where it ties into the spirituality. But this is where you can see that this right here is crazy for us to look through. Watch, I'm just going to go back so you guys can look through it. I want you guys to see it. Let me go back and just look at this real fast. These are the books that were published, and like this is the book that you have to read in order to be up to date on this. This is the Federal Register. And in here, they've now put in updates, rules and regulations. So look at this. You gotta like read all of this. You gotta keep going. Read all of this. And this is what happens when we allow regulations to creep in on what we're doing without us being aware of it. Guys, I'm only like 5% through. I'm on page 57 of 714. These are the pages. These are public documents. It's the Federal Register. Look at it. You got to know all this. Guess what? There's going to be more tomorrow. And then there's going to be more the next day. Please tell me, how is it? And they say that there's a maxim of the law that says um, ignorance of the law is no excuse. Well, hey, let me just tell you right now, if we're having to make signs more colorful and images easier to comprehend for street signs, then like this is something that you can't ask somebody to not be ignorant of. There are so many people that are trading cryptocurrencies, that have traded cryptocurrencies to free themselves from regulations, that don't know this and probably may never come across this. And what that's going to happen is that's going to further breed more slavery, because those people are now going to have to go to other people to get their taxes done for it, in order to make sure they're meeting their duties. And guess what? They're still not up on the laws. They just have to go and ask somebody else. So I'm just trying to say this, my friends, is that, like they said, if you want to keep a slave, you write it down on paper. That's what they used to say a long time ago when they wouldn't teach people their language. Well, this is right here where they've written things down on paper that is getting so deep, so thick, and the language is so thick, it's in a different language called legalese, that it forces you to either learn it or just be a slave to other people that do know it. And those other people that do know it, imagine what kind of lives they have. Imagine the kind of life you have to have in order to study this all the time, in order to offer your services to people. Wow. This is why blockchains and cryptocurrencies were here, so that way we could just freely just get things done between each other and just go ahead and just verify things on a blockchain. And no, they're not perfect. And no, it's not the end all be all. Of course we're going to move past them, and of course we're going to have updates to them. But this is like where it's hard for me to see how we're still innovating and moving forward with all of this. Look at this, guys. This is page 84. Let's keep on going. This is so exciting. Oh, I'm so excited right now. Let me tell you. Oh, I'm loving it. Let's look at these lovely charts. They got diagrams. And personnel development to improve services and results for children with disabilities. Applicant notice for fiscal year 2017. Eligibility information, eligible applicants, IHEs, private nonprofit organizations, cost sharing or matching. This program does not require cost sharing or matching. See, it's just, ugh. In order for them to want you to end up being a good citizen of your country, if you're in the US, you have to know all of this. This is about halfway through. I just went down to like page 397. See what we're at. Ooh, look at all these awesome things. Gosh. So what I'm trying to say, my friends, is that with this, we gotta, definitely make sure that we're trying to stay aware of what we're doing, because this is the rules that they're asking people to follow. It's the Federal Register. I'm not trying to make any speculation on this, but this is what's coming directly from them. So what I could say is that I'm not against it, because I know that there will end up having to be some rules at some point to protect some people, and that's sad. But I really do want people to stand up and be able to take care of their commercial dealings, to take care of their trades, so that way they don't have to go to third parties. The third party will be the blockchain. And, things like this, would end up making it a lot easier for me to be for. Because right now I can't be completely for all of these rules and trying to know all of that. So, yep, that's just where it is, my friends, is that, there were definitely a lot more opportunities out there, when we didn't end up having so many rules and regulations. But anybody that's watching this, if you get value out of this, Make sure you follow. Make sure you turn on the post notifications so that you know when I'm going live. And then also ask yourself, would you have started more businesses if there were less rules? Would you have been tempted to really follow your dreams and follow your goals and do whatever you wanted to, as long as you knew that there weren't going to be so many rules that you could be breaking laws? I wonder how many people find it just easier to go and get a job somewhere and just get money that way, so that way they don't have to learn all the rules of having to own a business. And that's where it's hard to still try to say, capitalism, all this stuff is great. It's a great place to live. Just like the articles say, man. But the rules make it so difficult to try to end up creating something that is stifling innovation. And look what we're doing to the internet. And now look what we're doing to cryptocurrencies. Things that didn't have rules on them now are getting rules. Things that affect the globe are coming down to decision panels of 5 people that are completely, that have been some of those people were doing their part in trying to stand up for the human race. And some of those people were being completely taken down the wrong path. And now we have to wait for years to recover from something like that. And there are other companies that knew that it would take this long. And they were prepared for it. And that's why they spent so much money lobbying for it. In fact, last night we reported on it. How Comcast stole money from people. Then they ended up going and using it to lobby against net neutrality. Now net neutrality's gone. And it's going to take a couple years for it to be battled through the courts. But by then things will be so different that who knows? Who knows what you'll be able to see by then. So that's why, my friends, stay strong. I'm trying to say this just so that way we don't spread I'm not trying to spread any fear, uncertainty, or doubt. I'm trying to spread this so that way we can see what we've done, we can learn from these mistakes, and when we build alternatives, the alternatives can be so much better than what we even currently are using. Easier to comprehend, and it's going to be fun to start businesses on places like the decentralized web, using cryptocurrencies that cannot they are just different than what's happening here, because now we're seeing that regulation is coming into these. So now the human species is now going to end up having to find some other platform to innovate upon. It's going to have to find some other way to move forward with being able to get these beautiful inventions and things like that out, like Ethereum. And it's gonna, and here's what I gotta say too, is that if we didn't have, and here's what's crazy, man, is that now what are we gonna do? That because Venezuela is completely dependent on it, and U.S. citizens now have to pay taxes on it. What does that mean? That means that U.S. citizens have to pay taxes on all currency that comes from Venezuela now, and a different type of tax. And now that's fracturing that type of tax from other taxes. So even in their system, it's not working. So it's just I'm just telling you, my friends, I just have an open heart, and I have an opinion, and these things can change at any time. But I love you guys, and I just want us to stay strong. So with that, I'll just say this too, is that we'll be back here in just a little while for some esoteric studies, so that way we can get some knowledge as well. That's why I like to do the esoteric studies, so we can stay strong. Remember that there are alternatives that are out there to the areas of control that currently exist. And because we live in a dualistic world, there must always be areas out there where control doesn't exist. And if cryptocurrencies have taught me one thing, it's definitely that when you don't have rules, innovation flourishes like a rainforest in the wet season. It just goes everywhere. So I just appreciate everybody that pays attention to these streams, everybody that joins the spaceship. Thank you so much. We probably might be back. We may be back tomorrow night. Maybe not. Just because there's some commercial holidays in the U.S. that are happening. And so from that, I'll just say good night to the humans of Earth. And we'll be back in a little while for some esoteric studies. Thank you so much.